I'm Tony Kennard,
And I'm the MangaMan.
and we're here to review the newspaper comics.
For our first review, we're going to talk about 3 different comic strips that feature babies as either main characters or a main part of the story if they're not.
So to start up this conversation on babies, we're first going to look at Dog Eat Doug.
Dog Eat Doug is the newest comic strip in this mold, starting in 2004 originally as a webcomic, but was picked up for newspaper syndication in 2005.
Plus, it's one of those comic strips that barely uses any dialogue at all and focuses more on imagery to tell its story.
The strip only runs on Sundays in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, but I've read it a few times. I've actually spoken with the creator of this one, and it's actually pretty damn good. It reminds me a bit of Peanuts or Calvin and Hobbes in a way, so it's definitely one of the better comics of the bunch in the Milwaukee Journal. Not the greatest, mind you, that I'm saving for much later, but it's not bad. It's better than some of the stuff that we're going to review later on in this same review.
Next up is Marvin.
Marvin. I hate Marvin. It's not the worst comic strip out there, but it's pretty damn close.
And that's saying something coming from him.
Marvin was created in 1985 by Tom Armstrong, who was also originally the artist of another strip called John Darling. John Darling was a spin-off of Funky Winkerbean, and we'll be talking about another spin-off of that comic strip, Crankshaft, in a later review. Marvin is... it's not good, basically. Marvin stars the title baby, and the jokes are just incredibly bland. The style is very much a Garfield ripoff. That's because Garfield was one of the most popular comic strips out there at the time of Marvin's debut.
And as they say, if you can't think of anything else creative, copy off of somebody else.
Most of the time, the humor is just inoffensively bland, like something you'd see out of a 50s sitcom. Other times, the guy uses Photoshop clone stamping for some of the weeks that he does story arcs. Like, there's one where he did I think it was called Belly Laughs or something like that, and it was all these little jokes and anecdotes or something about pregnancy, and it showed the same panels over and over again for the first panel, which is incredibly lazy.
Not to mention the fact that he made jokes about pregnancy, which I feel aren't really that funny at all.
Not only that, but when the humor isn't inoffensive, it's usually just toilet humor, poop jokes, like Marvin crapped his diaper, whoopee. Aren't we getting tired of this? Seriously? I know I'm getting tired of this shit.
He said shit, which is kind of like what he was talking about before about the poop jokes. It's a joke within a joke. Yeah. Next up is Baby Blues.
Baby Blues, I really don't have anything to say for or against it. To me, it's just another comic strip in the newspaper.
It exists, and that's pretty much it.
Ironically enough, even though Marvin's the one that's run the longest out of all 3 of these strips, Baby Blues is the one that has the most information about it on Wikipedia. Funny enough, Baby Blues is also the only one that has a television show. That probably helps that aspect. Granted, the television show didn't last more than a few episodes, but it's still more than what Marvin's got, and let's pray there isn't a Marvin television show anytime soon.
I shudder at the thought.
Baby Blues is one of those rare comic strips where the characters actually age. Granted, it's about the same rate as a cat, 4 years to every one of our human years, but it's still more than what Marvin's got.
I wonder what that is in dog years, then.
Dog Eat Doug is still better than both of them, though. It has a certain charm that neither one of them really has, in my personal opinion.
As well as mine.
I'm not sure if Dog Eat Doug's gonna have the characters age or not, since it's a relatively new strip, but it's been around for 5 years, the character's still a baby, so I'm guessing no.
Looks like we're gonna have another never-aging baby on our hands, folks.
While Baby Blues is not my favorite comic strip like I mentioned earlier, I still prefer it over Marvin. Marvin is just inoffensively bad.
Whereas Baby Blues is just there.
So overall, Baby Blues is like the middle child, you know, the one who gets some love but not as much love. Marvin is the one that I prefer to neglect, and Dog Eat Doug is the one that I feed pizza and ice cream to on a weekly basis.
Yes, pamper the one that you absolutely adore, and disown the one that you can't stand to stare at. This has been the MangaMan and Tony's first comic book review. We hope to see more in the future. Bye-bye!